Next item, please.
Next item is citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action can submit a virtual blue card that will be posted at 4 p.m. on Monday, May 10th, 2021 on the district's website or in person by 7:10 p.m. by submitting a blue card to the board secretary. The board might not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items, therefore speakers should not anticipate an immediate response to their comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, do not mention the names of students or school district employees. Please keep your comments as brief as possible. The board president reserves the right to limit times. Do believe we only have one single comment, which is from Mr. Alan Badgie of Dearborn, and he said, regarding the SFE contract renewal, bringing in SFE has been a great move. They put up great food, support the district's initiative, and have made it where more children are eating than ever before. All this, and they're making the district more money than before. That kind of return on investment. I wish we could get on all of our contracts. I challenge the naysayers, give food service a call, talk to them. They're doing amazing things and want feedback. They don't just want it, they use it.
Thank you very much for this comment, but the one thing I did want to comment on is this. The district doesn't make money off of food service. The way it actually works is that we served more meals than we ever had before, and because we served more meals than we ever had before, the government gave us more money than they had ever given before. So we are not running food service as a profit center. We are a nonprofit to begin with, and any money that goes into the food service budget has to stay there. So I just wanted to clarify that piece. Next item, please.
Next action items. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members or the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude them from the motion below.
I don't want to pull anything, but I want to make a correction.
Okay.
I have a
If
question.
you look at action,
Go ahead.
Go on, Trustee McDonald.
if you look at action, oh, thank you, President Thorpe. If you look at action item 2, towards the bottom, and it talks about renegotiating the bond, it says that the district will recognize an over $4 million savings annually for the life of the bond. That is not correct. The annually should not be in there.
So it's over $4 million over the life of the bond, not annual.
Over the life of the bond.
Thank you. Trustee Moses, were you saying something?
I had a question about one of the items, but I don't need it pulled. I just need a clarification so the public would be aware.
All right, any items need to be pulled?
That number is 8.
Any questions on any other items? All right. Trustee Moses, can you read the action item then? The recommended action, sorry.
So move that action items 1 through 19 be approved as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Supported.
We had a motion by Trustee Barry, support by Trustee D'Ambrosio. Trustee Moses, you want to go ahead with your question?
Yes, I have a question about the incomplete bids. Would like to know why they were incomplete. Were the bidders informed about that prior to the end of the closing of the bid?
So for it to be incomplete, they didn't supply us with, we gave a list of items that we wanted. So if they couldn't supply us with all of those items that were included in that bid, it would be considered incomplete. We wanted a bidder that could supply us with all the items. This is for the paper products, napkins, paper towels, trash liners.
And based on the difference in these bids, I'm assuming that they didn't include several items. This wasn't just
Because
one item
it's
probably
a
missed.
huge.
We,
substantial-
in the bid, we were specific with what we wanted. We wanted to be consistent with what we've been using, because a lot of the paper towel, on the walls that you pull them from, they're specific to what kind of materials you can use.
Any further questions, trustee Moses?
No further questions. Thank you,
No,
Mr.
very
Andrews.
welcome.
All right, could we have a roll call vote then, please?
Sure. Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yes,
Trustee Moses, yes. Trustee Petrichkov?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Thorpe?
Yes.
All right.
Can you do the summary of action items?
Yeah. Summary of agenda items that were approved. Approval of warrants. Number 2, approval of the resolution authorizing the refunding of the 2014 refunding bond per Board Report 20-95. Number 3, approval of Plant Moran. Number 4, approval of award to Comerica Bank. Number 5, approval of contract to Southwest Food Service Excellence, SFE, per Board Report 20-96. Number 6, approval of AHERA, designated person for Dearborn Public Schools. Number 7, approval of award to S&H Trucking and Excavating and Fuel Turf USA, Inc., per Board Report 20-97. Number 8, approval of award to APAC Paper and Packaging Corp. Number 9, approval of contract to Water Management Specialist. Number 10 through 13, approval of contracts to Presido Holdings, Inc. Number 14, approval of financial statement. Number 15, approval of resolution, approval of Wayne resale budget. Number 16, approval of resolution of school of choice. Number 17, approval of policy update per Board Report 20-104. Number 18, approval of mode of instruction. Number 19, approval of donations. Next item is Board of Education Business, acknowledgment of correspondence.
I think the whole board received an email at the end of last week from a former employee. I was gonna follow up with the board about that one later on. Any other correspondence that anyone received? Next item.
Board member committee and organization reports.
Trustee Petlicoff.
Okay, I've got 2 committees to report on. One, we had a building and site. We talked about a lot of projects coming forward and/or being completed. A lot of it was athletic fields at all 3 of the high schools. The other ones, some of the things were going to be like partial roof and asphalt projects that occurred.
Trustee Petlicoff, isn't this the one that Trustee McDonald reported on before the last board meeting?
Oh, was that? Yeah, you're
Yes.
right. For some reason, I was thinking that that was this one. Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Did we talk about the
City
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 relations then?
happened after our
Yeah,
last meeting.
the city relations happened after the last meeting. I'm sorry, my apologies. Well, good, then we didn't have to do it. I'm so used to doing the old building and site. My apologies. The city relations met in a closed session. I think we can thank Trustee Lane for that a little bit, who helped push for any Open Meetings Act that regarded security-related issues, so that we don't give away too much information that could jeopardize the safety of our buildings, students, and/or staff. So we did have a closed session. We will be doing a short presentation for the rest of the board in June. It's concerning an interlocal agreement contract with the city, and so you will get a update of that before we sign that contract. But that's about as far as I can go with the details at that point.
Thank you. Policy Committee?
Policy Committee. I got a question for Trustee Petrichkov before we go there. Said before we sign that agreement, but we're only gonna have a chance to talk about it in June? We're gonna.
This is a contract that we all saw before, and then it was pulled. I think,
Well, it was pulled for a reason, I mean.
yeah, so now we're going to have, and we're not gonna do it that day. We're gonna have a presentation in June.
My question is, does it eventually have to be approved by this board to go
Yes.
ahead and sign that contract?
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
I'm.
yeah, we're not, yeah, we will be
Okay.
then seeing that on
Wanna
the
make sure.
following meeting
So I
agenda.
think possibly at our next board meeting, we're gonna have a
We're gonna
presentation.
try, yeah.
And then the meeting after that, we bring it up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It sounded like we're gonna have a discussion and sign the agreements.
no.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, the policy committee met earlier today. Two policies that were discussed was the digital communication policy, AKA social media, and the other one is do not resuscitate, order, losing my eyesight, Mary.
Resuscitate.
Yeah, orders DNR for minor students. So we discussed those two policy changes. The whole board will get an update in the board notes on Thursday. This will be on a discussion, under discussion for the next board meeting, the full board. Then we're probably gonna be voting on it. This will be the first meeting in June. If everything goes well, we'll be voting on it. And the two policies, the second meeting. We also discussed, we're gonna keep moving forward on this facility use. We're looking for some reports. And we're looking for other policy providers. We've been using Neola for a long time, so we're gonna be looking, we're gonna be talking to somebody sometime this week and looking for other providers too, to see if there's anything else to be
Comparison.
done. So, other than that, that's all I have. Colleagues? Thank you.
Trustee Watts, were you, with finance?
Finance, yes.
Alright.
So the Finance Committee, we met earlier today. So we went over what the school aid budget update may look like for the upcoming school year. Currently, per pupil, it's 8,842. We initially thought that there was going to be a decrease last summer. They actually increased it to 65 per pupil. There's a couple more dates that obviously the House, Senate, and Governor need to agree upon. But we should know about mid-June what that per pupil funding will look like. And by law that we need to have, that they need to adopt something by September 30th. And because our budget, I believe, goes from July to June, we obviously have Tom put together, best case, worst case, and most likely scenario for us. With that, our student count, it's currently 20,580, with a potential forecast about give or take 500 student loss. We're going to get some more specifications, and that's a conservative estimate. But we'll get some specific report from Abe Masher as to where, when that student loss and where they ended up. But with that, they're currently using the super blend format for our student count. Next year, they're anticipating going back to the 90-10% count. So with that, we're in financially, we're in good shape. Best case scenario, it would be a surplus of 5.5 million. Worst case would be 2.8 million, most likely with the conservative student loss would be $472,000. Beyond that, our fund balance last year was 16.5%. The projected fund balance would be 18.18%, so an increase in our fund balance. Which brings us to the next item that we discussed was a budget stabilization fund. There is a policy 6235, budget fund balance policy, that we may need to revisit because I believe in there that if the fund balance gets to between 15 and 20%, that Mr. Well was recommending creating a budget stabilization fund. And that would be used by the school board to help the students, benefit the students. That would be for future planning, something that we could decide how we wanted to use those funds for the students. Also, the update versus with the CARES and ESSER funds. So the first CARES 1 or ESSERS 1 was $19 million. All of that has been released. The second ESSERS 2 was $38 million. 43% of that has been released. And the third that is currently being held up in legislation with the projection of being able to come out between 2021 and to be used until 2023 has not been released yet. But some of the items that have been purchased back until March of 2021 can get, and with that purchase, we can use the funds to then swap out. And then in regards to the bond discussion, the survey results have come back. They haven't had a chance yet to really look through it, but that'll be brought up probably at the next board meeting and be shared with us. And then in terms of, this was already brought up, but the bond, the savings of the bond that we just signed off on, that is a $4 million, what Trustee McDonald has said, it was a $4 million savings over the lifetime of that bond. Let's see. There was also a discussion of we were approached, the school district was approached about potentially, there was a person who wanted to potentially purchase property that was in the Salina School District, but we decided that because it was too close to Salina schools, and it would have, visually, I think it probably would have limited with students going back and forth using the streets, and there's the crosswalk right in front, there was probably going to be disruptive to the schools and just not safe to sell that property because they wanted to extend their house. So with that was probably a lot of discussion of how safe that would be for the schools, for the students who are crossing in front of it. And then also the school district was approached for potential sale of some cell towers, but that was discussed that at 40 cents a dollar, it was not a smart investment to relinquish control over the cell towers for something that might be long-term. Over 50 years, it would be a loss if we were to sell it, or if we were not to sell it, we'd lose 2.6 million, but because this is something that comes up several times a month, to sell something at 40 cents on the dollar and lose the control over the cell towers, especially one being so close inside of our schools and being in the parking lot of Etzel Ford and the disruption, that it was a safety issue. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, that was it.
All right, Trustee Moser.
Yep, the Superintendent Evaluation Committee met on April 28th in a closed session, and we have another meeting scheduled on May 20th for the entire board for the evaluation. So please have your evaluation completed, and if you have any questions on the evaluation, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
All right.
We bringing those in with us, or we?
It's gonna be virtually, so you're just gonna have them with you.
Any other committee or organization reports? Next item.
Board member, superintendent commentary.
I would like to say that before we meet again, we will have a bunch of graduates. So congratulations to the class of 2021. We look forward to being able to see you in person at your graduation ceremonies at the beginning of June. Trustee Barry.
In a few days, most of the community members will be celebrating Eid, so I'd like to wish everybody Eid Mubarak who celebrates. Kalam Tov Khair. This celebrates the end of Ramadan, so that's what we're currently going through right now, is doing for Ramadan. That's just one. Really happy Ramadan. happy I.
Dr. Maliko?
Just wanted to mention that the Teacher of the Year Student Choice Award through the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce is out. It's been publicized, and they've had to tweak it under the pandemic the last couple of years, but the deadline is May 28th, so we talked about teacher appreciation, so it'd be a great thing if students and parents want to submit applications. Thank you.
And I
Trustee
believe we have the
Pelichko.
Education Foundation Green Tie Dinner
Oh, yeah.
virtual.
They ended up going with a virtual.
Virtual,
event.
yes, and that is
Yeah.
on the 24th, but there is, either you can join virtually and you can donate as well, and I know it's out there as well, and we've been promoting that. Thank you, trustee.
Forget to
Based on the
post
time, we need a motion to extend the meeting.
Motion to extend the meeting
Support.
with 50 minutes.
All right, motion was made by trustee Moses and supported by trustee Petlicoff. Roll call vote, for please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yes,
Trustee Moses, yes. Trustee Petlicoff?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Thorpe?
Yes. Next item, please.
Request for information or future agenda items.
Trustee Petlicoff.
Can I just every year we have, talking about the Green Tie Dinner, the Education Foundation, can we have just a very brief report on the amount of money they've I mean, tonight they had quite a significant amount of donation to the district, and I know that they, during the pandemic, fundraising is very challenging as it is, but I'd like we could just have a real short report on the donations that have been made to the district, because that's always something that's important and gives back to the school community in a meaningful way.
So the overall or the foundation?
Just the overall.
Overall? Okay.
Yeah, overall, maybe we can break it out, the foundation and then other
Okay.
kind of things, so that people can see what kind of good is generated from the.
All right, trustee Barry?
Yes, Dr. Malika, I'd like to see a report on legal expenses the last 3 years, broken down by different firms that we use.
You said 3 years, trustee?
Yeah, 3 years.
Thank you.
Trustee Moses?
I would like to, for high schools, just to see, especially comparing this year and the year before as far as academic performance for high school students, specifically if they failed any classes, how many classes they failed, and comparing that to the previous years.
And I think we had seen a report about the first semester. I think they were showing us something similar to that. But yeah. So you're
I
looking
don't
for all the high
recall
school.
seeing it. Yes,
This year versus previous years,
Yeah,
like,
yes.
what, a
A
few years?
total?
just a total, yeah. Just a breakdown with the high schools.
So if we did the last 2 years of pandemic and then 2 years prior, maybe something
That
like
would be great. That would show us how students are doing in this pandemic world.
One item that I'd like some information on, we talked earlier about how the class of 2021 has lost so much. We're trying to give them their graduations. For next fall, if we can get a report about homecoming, not the city, but the school's homecomings. Traditionally, those happen in October. I'm wondering if it's possible to move them up into September when the weather is better, because we can only hope that once the weather gets worse and we're going back indoors, things don't start shutting down again. Any other requests for information? Next item, please.
Next item is future meeting dates. Monday, May 17th, 2021, HFC meeting, 7 PM here at ASC. Check online at hfcc.edu/board-meeting-schedule. Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, HFC Financial Stability Ad Hoc Committee meeting, 5:30 PM via Zoom video conference. Also check online at hfcc.edu/board-meeting-schedule. May 20th, Superintendent Evaluation Virtual Closed Session. Monday, June 7th, 2021, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 PM at the Administrative Service Center. Here at the Frank Tree Boardroom and virtually available for live streaming on YouTube, the YouTube channel for the district, as well as the Facebook page and cable channel Comcast Channel 19 and WOW Channel 15.
Everyone stay safe and healthy. Have a great evening.